All right, we are getting close to winding up our coverage here of ACC women's basketball tip-off, but not before we talk to the North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm Jen Hildreth. We've got head coach Courtney Banghart, Deja Kelly, Malucha Tenge. Welcome, ladies, up to the stage. Thank you so much. Hope your day is going well.
It's been great. What a cool event.
It is fun. Have you guys having a good time?
Yeah, we are.
Absolutely.
Okay, highlight so far, other than, of course, what you're about to do now, talking to us. But what have you liked so far, Deja?
I think just it's just a fun experience. Just being asked all these questions, just being here, first time since COVID and all that. Just being able to be out and seeing everybody, I think that's a pretty good experience.
People, being around people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, I was so nervous coming here, but after the first interview, I was like shaking it off. I can do this.
You
I mean,
got
it's
this.
natural.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank goodness last year is behind us. But let's just look back a little bit first, Coach, first with you, and kind of like looking forward, how that experience shaped you and maybe shaped your approach coming into this year.
Yeah, I mean, last year had a lot of unique challenges, but really for us, it was a year of resiliency. It's I think we won 1 of 7 games in January, and I think it shows a lot of resiliency, and it shows a lot about your locker room when you have the February that we had to get ourselves into the tournament, and that was off of very much of a rebuilt roster, so it was kind of a brand new experience, and we just kind of stayed true to our mission. We needed young people to step up, and we needed people to play through some injuries, which obviously Lou had to do. I mean, it was a year where we just showed a lot of resiliency, and we hope that will continue to be our thread as we feel like we've gotten better.
Yeah, Malou, you having to have hip surgery, right? So what was that like, and how are you feeling now?
Yeah, I mean, that was something different. I mean, I really didn't expect that to happen, for me to really want to rush back so fast, but it really taught me patience. Like, it takes time. I can't just feel like just because I'm fixed now, oh, I'm good to go. That's something, it takes time, slow down. It takes time. That's something with me, patience. I thought about that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, you learned a lesson that
Yeah,
most of us learn as we get older. We can
Yeah.
tell our body to do things, but we
Yeah.
have to go on its timetable, right?
Exactly.
And how about for you, Deja? Just jumping right in and becoming such a big part of the program, which I know all along was the goal. But how would you look back on your first year?
Absolutely, yeah. As soon as I got here, Coach was like, "I'm gonna need you to step up big time. You don't have really time to be a freshman, really." So, and I embraced it. Obviously, I started off kind of slow, but I think the second half of the freshman year, definitely a lot better, and definitely, kind of give everyone an idea of who I am and what I'm gonna be or what I'm gonna do in this league.
At one point last year, Coach Banghart said that, when she was talking about you, that your progress wasn't always linear. What did that mean to you? And do you agree? I mean, it doesn't always go that you start at this point and you get to this point. I think you probably ended up here, but did you maybe have a few hills and valleys along the way?
Absolutely. It was definitely an uphill battle, lots of up and downs. Coach could tell you better than I can. But no, it was a process, and I'm really grateful that Coach continued to trust me in that process that I was going through that whole freshman experience, and she just kept putting her trust in me, and I really appreciated that, and that helped me grow as a person as well as a player.
What are you asking of young Deja now?
To never forget where she came from. Never forget that when I say what you came from, what your goals are and what your commitments are to those goals. But also don't forget that the journey that lessons you've learned already. We don't need to relearn them. And so it's all about goals. And for the kids this talented, it's not about setting goals. It's about your commitments to reach your goals. And her commitments need to match what her goals are. And it started to do that as we got to the second half of the year.
I want to certainly talk about more on the floor stuff, but I also thought it was great, the program that you guys had last year, the Bigger Than Basketball, Educate and Activate. Is that something that you'll carry over and do again, or is that something that maybe was just, you kind of learned from last year?
I thought it was a great way for us to utilize everything from the COVID pandemic and how it asked us to separate from connectivity, as well as the marginalized populations all across our country. It's a way for us to kind of give access to and give a voice to those populations. And then also, when your heart is heavy, what you need to do is serve others. And we knew it was going to be a hard year, and so we just wanted to focus on our opportunity to serve others. And so that's just now embedded in our fabric. So it won't show up in the same way, but it will forever be embedded in our program.
Malou, is there anything that you specifically that, spoke to you as a part of that program last year, or maybe as anything else?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that people really aren't aware about. Like, for us to really talk about different causes like homelessness and just like first responders, and for us to really bring light into them. I thought that was really important for us as a whole to really acknowledge, like, to be grateful.
Yeah, and remind me, I know those were a couple, and I'm glad you just said that, because what were some of the other things? Was there a literacy, right, where you guys talked about with young kids reading?
Extra chromosome, extra awesome, which is the Down syndrome awareness. We had readers are leaders. So we did some sort of literacy. We did food insecurity, and it was amazing for these kids to learn how many, both in our home state and in our entire country, how many people are suffering from food insecurity, homelessness, and equality. So LGBTQ, military awareness, gender equality. Yeah, and they all picked one. It was really, really awesome.
It's kind of, you learn some things that way that maybe you would never think. And as I've said, I think all day, we're always looking to pull those silver linings out of last year's experience as best we can. So, all right, we'll talk about the group this year, both the players you've got coming back and some of the new faces and what you've seen so far, Coach.
You know, it's a really cliche thing to be excited about your team this early in the year, but I got to say, this is a group I'm really excited about. It's a group that entirely is my selection, and so they sort of play to my personality and go through adversity with my personality, and so I get them. I think we've got length, we've got versatility, we've got speed, and we've got kids that are really connected and bought in, right? And you think about our leadership and our captains and our young guys, our middle two classes, and they've kind of been the nucleus, and then our young talent. We just have a lot of weapons, and I know we're going to hear all year that we've got 18-year-olds playing against 25-year-olds, and that's a fact, right? That's a fact. But we're going to worry about what's in our locker room, and I have to say there's a lot of goodness in our locker room, a lot of pieces that I get to play with, and people that are getting better and better every day.
Any in there who we might follow in the footsteps of these two, get that all ACC freshman recognition, perhaps?
We've got some good freshmen, don't we, my friends?
We do.
We've got Tiani Keys coming in, pretty heralded as a top 10 player in the country, and she's every bit as good as that. I mean, this kid's a pro, and it's just a matter of how quickly she can adjust to college basketball. Right, I've got some examples here that's not easy to do. And then Kayla McPherson's coming off of an injury that we hope that she'll be full go soon. Those two kids had come in, really, really heralded, and they've kind of answered that call. But really, all four of them, Destiny and Mo as well. These are kids that are top 20 in the country for a reason, and it's just a matter of how well these two in particular can lead them through their freshman adversity, so that they can help us sooner rather than later.
Well, Deja, Coach just said, a lot of the players coming in are kind of reflect the type of player she's looking for, her style. What is her style? I'll ask that to both of you. I'll let you go first, Deja, kind of what it's like playing for Coach Banghart.
It's great. It's very different because, she recruited a lot of versatile players. So a lot of us can play multiple positions, can do a lot of different things, and a lot of us are two-way players. And I think that's what makes us special. She wants us to play fast, and I think especially with the group we have this year, we'll definitely be able to do that and excel at that. And yeah, just a very versatile, strong team, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much said it all. Versatility, fast pace. I mean, Coach said this roster fits exactly to her style of play. And with that, I mean, we have guards that can post up, and we have bigs that can shoot threes, bigs that can handle the ball. That's Coach's style of play right there. And I think we're going to be great this year, and I'm excited for you guys to watch us.
How have you felt that in your own game, Malu? Have you been pieces that you have added and worked
100%,
on?
Definitely.
Yeah.
My confidence has definitely raised through the roof. Like, especially with my shots, Coach wants me to take every shot I take. She's like, why didn't you shoot that? I said, I don't know, but
She can shoot now.
yeah, she's really pushing me on that. Shoot the ball. You can shoot the ball.
Okay, but personal question. Your name, it's such a pretty name. Is it short for anything?
No, it's actually my grandma's name, so my mom's mom. It's
Okay.
just Malu.
Let's hear about all the different editions you have of your name.
Malu, Charlotte.
No, like some call you Malu,
Yeah.
some call you.
Oh, don't get me
Malu,
confused now, just when I'm
Malu.
getting it right.
Everybody says it
Malu,
differently.
Malu. I mean, like with my family say Malu because it's French, like Malu. So people are like trying to say Malu. No. If you're not French, just don't say it like that. Just say Malu.
Okay, I'm just from your mouth to mine. Okay, that is how I'm going to try to do it. Yeah. Now, all right, just sticking with the family and the name. Obviously, you have a pretty famous uncle who played the game, Dikembe Mutombo. I know, and I was reading because I said, have I ever seen her do the finger wag? And so then I started doing some research. You did do it in high school a couple times, didn't you?
I did. I did do it in high school, but I just find it corny. I don't know. Like, to me, I just can't do it. I just think it's corny for me to do it. Like,
We've been begging her to do
I
it
do
in the
it
game.
all the time in practice. I'm just like, you guys can do it.
Well, you have to come up with your own signature statement, I
exactly.
guess. And then, Deja, how about, in some ways, it was almost like a storybook for you, right? Like with being able to come in last season and get the accolades you did, and then you get to kind of go back home to San Antonio, and yet you went so off script also with having to deal with COVID and then not getting any further than where you wanted to go further in the postseason. So how does all of that kind of drive you in terms of now heading into this year?
Absolutely. You know, we had a rough begin. I mean, personally, I had a rough beginning to the season. But then just seeing how I ended personally, and just us making it to the tournament, just knowing that, we had the pieces that we brought back this year to be able to do that, and getting through the COVID year and getting through all those obstacles, and then just wanting to carry that over into this year and bring that same energy, carry over that momentum. That's my personal goal, and my personal goal is to carry over that momentum and to eventually lead us to getting farther in the ACC tournament as well as the NCAA tournament.
Well, leadership often comes from so many different places. I saw you just announced your captains this week. How do you guys do that? Is it a player vote, or how do you select your captains?
It'll be dependent upon the year, right? And so teams where we didn't have any last year, ironically, it was the very first year in my coaching career we didn't have any. And this particular year, I wanted each of the players to weigh in and just who they thought could be the right, the verb, who could lead with as a verb, and it was just unbelievable how the consensus was for those three names. I didn't say it was three names. I didn't say it was one. Just left it really open-ended. And as I read through their words, it was like, well, gosh, you don't even need my vote. And so, yeah, it was a player selected this year, and they nailed it.
And I just want to make sure, I was going to have you, Sam, because I know Jalen Murray, obviously.
Yep.
Carly Littlefield, transfer from Princeton. And is it Eva?
Eva, yeah. Eva's from the
Hodgson.
603,
Okay.
which is where I'm from.
Yes.
So
okay.
we've got the 603, we've got the Princeton kid, and then we've got, obviously the heart and soul in Jalen Murray.
That's interesting, a couple of transfers.
It is
too.
interesting. Yeah, and I sort of embarrass Lou sometimes because she's kind of the OG, her and I. We kind of did this together. But I give a lot of credit to someone like Malou because the fact that she has created an environment where it's about this year. It's not about last year or the 2 years before, or it's about what this group can do. And this particular team, those are the right leaders for this particular team. And for our kids to have the freedom to feel like that and not worry about like, well, they've only been here since June. What about me? I think I give Lou a lot of credit and obviously Deja with her class. It's about what this team needs. And I thought you guys really nailed it with your choices.
Well, staying on this year's team, I want to give each of you guys a chance just to take the stage, if you will, and tell your fans or anybody who might be watching who are wondering what's been going on in the offseason and the preseason, what they're going to see from North Carolina basketball this year. What would you guys tell them? We'll start with Malou down in the end.
So I feel like postseason, we really focused on each and everyone's individual craft. I mean, Coach did a great job with the staff to really focus on what everyone needs to work on. So especially with me, I got to work on different things that I didn't get to last year, especially because of COVID. So really doing that and then coming together later on in the summer and being able to put that craft together and play as a team, I thought was an amazing way to really have a postseason and a preseason. So really, I'm saying stay tuned, man. Like, you guys are sleeping on us. Stay tuned, really. Stay tuned.
Yeah, Lou. No, just to kind of piggyback off of what Lou said, a lot of us have put a lot of individual time in ourselves. So just being able to see within these past couple months, to when we put it together, all together in practice, it's really amazing to see how everyone's individual work just all gels together into one. Like we look such in unit, and I think that's, and then just a lot of, as far as like our energy with each other, our vibe with each other, I think that's through the roof, and I think that plays a big role in a team's success. So I'm really excited to see what we do.
And I would say you're going to notice definitely a change of pace, right? We can play faster now because we're different. We're built differently. And also more ball movement. We're very unselfish. Carly Littlefield, who has the ball in her hands a lot for us, she's incredibly unselfish. So the ball moves. The ball moves a lot. And that has made everybody move it better, right? So that's hard to guard. And then, as they said, the individual development, our sophomores don't look the same. They don't. Deja had the shortest offseason, and arguably she could have because she had the year that she had. But really, everybody's development individually is what makes a team work, right? There's no free rides. And so I think you guys will see a totally different team with some similar faces, but not similar games. And that means we're doing something right.
Okay, before I let you guys go, I've been asking everybody what your high school mascot was.
Mine was a cadet.
Is that a aggressive thing? What is that?
What? Yeah, that's like
a human?
like a fighter, right?
Yes.
Because you played with Asia Shepherd.
Yes.
I was like, I heard cadet earlier.
Cadet, yeah,
Okay.
St. John's.
A human being? Like it's a human mascot? Wow. I didn't know that. Good question.
Yeah, well,
Military,
see.
It's a military human. Okay.
Deja.
We were Panthers, but we were called the Pantherettes.
Okay. Did you like that?
It was odd, but it's just I guess tradition. So stuck.
We were the. Do you want to know mine?
Yeah,
I barely remember high school.
Yeah.
We were the Tigers, the Sabers. Well, we called the Sabers, but it was not the sword. It was the Tigers.
Like a
saber-tooth
saber
tiger.
tooth. Okay. That's creative. I don't know. I feel like there's something,
What was
maybe it's
yours?
like a genre. I was a flyer. It's really not exciting.
Okay.
I was a mascot with an N, the letter N, and wings. Yeah, I don't know. So let's end with the sabers. That was better. All right, guys. That's going to do it for our time up here. I appreciate all of you coming in. Hopefully you've had a great day. Enjoyed
It's been
talking with
great.
all of you. And we have one more left. Is Virginia coming up here at 4:30.